Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Fancy a hint for December? What's coming up? I'll tell you now, I'm pretty excited. At some point during this video, I will be dropping a hint, so stay tuned, and obviously you can pick that up and let me know down in the comments what you think of the hint and what you think of obviously all the hits and misses. As we do typically at the end of a month, we will go through and give our 3 hits and our 3 misses from November here in Star Trek Fleet Command. Let's dive in. Let's see what we actually had going on. So it was patch number 60. Patch 60, fantastic splash image, I must admit. And what did we get? Let's dive straight to what we physically got. So we got the brand new Borg Cube ship. God, I've been waiting a long time to fly a Borg Cube in this game. So long to fly a Borg Cube. We can finally do it. We got the G6 expansion. So we've now obviously got the next generation of players, and people have been making some massive headway into them. I think we're up to 8 or 9 up 66s in the game at the moment, which is absolutely insane. Bearing in mind, this is only what, about 25 days old now. We got new officers, we got new primes, we got new missions, we got new cosmetics, we got a new battle pass, and we also got much more. So this is what we got. Obviously the Borg Cube. Looking at this, it's obviously we got the big thing about it was the brand new cutting beam and things like that. The G6 expansion with the new hazard systems, adding a little bit more spice to going out there and being able to just do your normal daily grind, having to think about the fact that you're losing hull health for every minute that you're actually physically sat in those systems. Gives a lot for the new 60 plus players to be able to contend with. New officers, we've got Enterprise E Picard, Enterprise E Data, new primes affecting G3 and G5 prime efficiency, making it cheaper for those researchers. Good catch-up mechanic. Now we've got the introduction of G6, trying to make the G3 to G5 a little bit faster, but it is a prime. A new increase in scrapping speed, 16 missions, 5 Borg Cube missions, we've got cosmetics, we've got obviously the new battle pass, and a small handful of bug fixes and localization issues fixed as well. So that was November. We're going to obviously give the hint for December, so stay tuned for that. But first of all, let's start off with the bad stuff so we can end on a good note, as we always do. Let's start off with our 3 misses for November in Star Trek Fleet Command. First miss for me was an easy one. The first miss was just the general stability of the game. There were hours and even days sometimes where the game was virtually unplayable. Um, and this was followed up by not great communication as well. Yes, we did get a comp chest for one of the days where we had severe outage, but this month, general stability, general communication, I feel, has really fallen off a cliff after that. I think they were making some decent inroads. The start of 2023, I felt stability got much better. I thought communication was taking a turn, but general stability of the game, I just feel that that was really poor. And when we take a look at the official announcements, things started off okay. Okay, obviously, we've got the obviously the first day of the patch. Obviously, we got that. We got Beck's great video, which was a really good video actually, really good. Started to see the maintenance being extended to start off with to fix some bugs. So not initially starting off great. Maintenance then getting lifted. And then we came up with all of these issues straight away. Um, ugh, Straight away, as soon as the patch launched, we then had a big, massive stream of bug fixes. We then had a bit more communication a little bit later in the day, then the following day. But then we go to the 8th, we then go the 9th, 10th, 14th, 15th. Obviously, this is the nothing to do with the actual arc itself. This was obviously about the 5th year anniversary, but we did get decent communication towards the start of the arc. But then it felt sort of from the 15th, we didn't really get much from the arc. One day on the 17th. And we've got obviously some maintenance announcements which clog up the official announcements channel. 5 years again, and then we're into incursions. So from the 14th, obviously, so for the last sort of 7 days of the arc where there were issues, we had no real communication from Scopely with regards to the inherent issues that we had with stability and lag and things like that. So I feel like that needs to be improved. I think we was actually making some massive inroads before. How cool does that Borg PC look, by the way? It's got some killer stats. Anybody that doesn't understand what all this sort of stuff did, I didn't, by the way, until I bought my gaming PC. But I just Googled some of what these things are. This is top line stuff. This really is top line stuff with the graphics cards and the CPU and stuff like that. Some really good stuff in this cube. So congratulations to the 2 people that won that. It's absolutely insane. But that's our first miss, general stability, and obviously tying in there with a bit of communication as well. That's our first big miss. My second miss is in specific relation to the Borg Cube. As much as I love the premise of the Borg Cube, I feel it has some issues. And two of those issues, I'm going to sort of roll into one as my second miss in terms of a game design that I don't think is fantastic or even necessary for the Cube. I don't think it makes anything massively different. So, look at these. Base PvE damage. I feel it's too low. I feel it's taking a little bit of time, and bearing in mind that the base hull HP for PvP is also massively reduced as well. I feel that this should have been a powerhouse in PvP. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel the cube is slightly misunderstood. I feel the cube is slightly misunderstood. What you've got to do is you've got to look at the cube as two elements. Firstly, as a general ship. As a general ship, it is fantastic. Going out there, it's got a fantastic firing pattern. It's got decent research. Obviously, it's not affected by faction research, which does sort of make it slightly less akin to the normal faction ships of its range, of its where you've actually physically got it to. However, it's a fantastic ship with a great firing pattern that's going to see you through Ops 28 all the way through Ops 70 and is going to remain a powerhouse within that time. The PvE damage needs a buff. I think the PvP damage is far too low when you look at the comparables, especially with all the additions to hull and shield research that have come into the game most recently. The PvP damage is just far too small. So that's my first miss, well, sub misses, I suppose, as it were. And my other part of the Borg Cube that I really don't like, I don't like the 30-second timer. I don't like the 30-second timer in game. So when you hit a hostile with your cutting beam, I will show you now that it gives you a 30-second cooldown. So as my ship warps into Groombridge, which by the way is a fantastic tier 5 system, little quick tip here while you're there, you go in pretty much any crew if you've got if you're a relatively high level, but at tier 5 you take your Borg Cube in here, you hit a level 40, you charge your beam in one hit, you then find level 39 Explorer and you blow it up. It's fantastic. It's literally one on one point for charging and then 1 point for killing. So but what the issue we have is let's say, for example, there isn't this 39 here. So then you decide to use the other hostile, which is the other lowest survey version. You hit it. Obviously, you don't kill it. You know it's going to take 2 or 3 taps. You're in a really good system, so you're able to come down here and you're going to go. Da, 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 da. You're going to kill this this level 41, fully recharge your beam. If you notice, you've got this. It's still in cooldown. It's still got 11 seconds left. What it does is it just slows down a little bit. So we try and hit it. You cannot attack it because it's temporarily immune from the Borg cutting beam. I don't think we need a 30-second cooldown on it. I just don't think we need it. Because then if you want to triple tap stuff, you're then going to go in. You're then going to go. You've then got a hostile nice and close like this one. We go and hit it again. Wait for it to go. And we're then sat here waiting. We're just literally sat here now waiting for another 15 seconds for it to happen, sat doing not a great deal. I just don't think that that cooldown on the target necessarily needs to be there. I understand why it's there to prevent griefing for PvP, potentially, obviously to give their players time to escape and move away and give them a little bit of some sort of tactics in terms of escape. But for PvE, I see absolutely no reason for that to be there, especially when things like that need a triple tap. It just adds additional grind to the game, that additional timestamp that doesn't need to be there. So keep it for PvP, but I don't think it needs to be there for PvE. And that is our second miss of the arc. Moving on to the third one. My third miss, I've put this on its own because I think this is a really big one. I'm going back on the Borg Cube. I'm going back to the Borg Cube and we're going to talk about the tax. When I say the tax, this is a punching up tax. So if anybody's not aware, especially while your cubes are still relatively low tier, you may not have encountered this yet. But let's say you're ready to hit a hostile higher than your ops level. Let's say I was an ops 37. Ops 37 very, very easily could come in here and grind in Groombridge. Very easily come in and grind in Groombridge. The hostiles won't be too difficult with all the additional researches and things like that that have come in. Every single ops level that you hit up, you lose 10% of your cutting beam damage. So if we look at this at tier 5, my cutting beam is 164,000. That means that I would lose 16,400 for every level of hostile above my ops level. So if I was a 37 hitting a 39, I would lose 20% of that. So I would lose about 32,800 from my cutting beam. And that affects both PvE and PvP. I do not think that tax needs to be there. I don't think it's necessary. The game has pushed people to increase their research, to increase their hulls, to be able to go and grind in these bigger systems for a long time now. That's been a very big staple of the game to get yourself stronger. I mean, enterprises, for example, if you go back 2 years, a massive, big, beastie enterprise used to be about 6 million a couple of years ago. 6 million for a max enterprise. Do I have a max enterprise? I've got a tier 7 level 1 enterprise here, which is rocking at 10 million. My max enterprises, my max G3 ships now, I haven't got one that's actually physically maxed at the moment. Oh, what's this one? Here we go. Maxed Auger, 15.5 million. These players have got these fantastic, fantastic ships now. These ships that weigh 5, 6 million are now sort of 9, 10 million as you get into the early 40s. It's massive, allowing players to be able to punch up, adding a tax on them to make sure that they cannot get sufficient TD. Because remember, the amount of technological distinctiveness that you get is directly linked to the level of hostile that you can kill. So if you're at Ops 37 and you can easily do the 39s in Groombridge, as I'm saying here at tier 5 potentially, then you're scuppered. You are scuppered because and you're losing out potentially on 20, 30 TD per run. So it's just not necessary. The tax is just not necessary. That's our third miss, and I know a few of them have been Borg Cube related. It's because I was so excited for the Borg Cube. There was hype around the Borg Cube. Massive shout out to Scopely for the hype, being able to obviously launch that early. I'm really pleased that they actually did that. But I feel that a few features of it do need to be adjusted to make the Borg Cube the powerhouse that it deserves to be. And good shout out as well for this, obviously making sure that it's a little cube rather than a triangle. And it's even a cube out in space. Look to be able to see what it is. At first, I thought it was a glitch, but then I noticed it's a cube. But no, it looks fantastic. I think the artwork is brilliant. I think the general premise of it is great. But I'm just really disappointed with a few factors of it. And there are our three misses. So we've talked about the things that we didn't like. Now it's time to move on to some of the stuff that we thought was really good for this month. So we're going to talk about the officers. Let's start off with this fella, JLP, Jean-Luc Picard, Enterprise E Picard. Obviously, our third iteration of Picard added to the game, and I think he's going to be the most widely used officer in the game. Of the Picards, I mean, I don't mean of all time. This is going to be the most widely used Picard in the game. I think he's absolutely superb. And what does he do? So he is basically a 5 of 11 when as captain. Now, this is with synergy from data. At base, he is 60%. So with one side of synergy, we get an additional 40%, giving us a 100% loot drop from both hostiles and armadas. Absolutely massive, absolutely massive. With Picard, with data, 100%. And remember, this includes reputation. This includes loot from hostiles. This includes loot from armadas. JLP, Enterprise E Picard, is really, really going to be a stalwart for players who wanting to get the most loot out of their hostiles. Now, does his ability match up to, say, Strange New Worlds in terms of combat effectiveness? Potentially not, meaning that you would maybe need to do more trips to be able to kill the number of hostiles that you used to kill. But if you're able to get the same or if not more loot from less hostiles and potentially dying quicker, is that not better? What do we go there for? Do we always go there for the kills? Sometimes. Sometimes for events, sometimes for dailies. However, if loot is your main gain, this guy, oh my god, as captain, will be absolutely superb. And obviously, when you then pair him with his Android counterpart, Enterprise E Data, arguably one of the best isolytic officers in the game. I mean, my data is currently tier 3, really pleased with the sourcing for data. Increase isolytic cascade by 20% versus non-armada hostiles. So he won't work against armadas, neither will Enterprise E Picard. But data, increasing isolytic cascade, 20%. Remember, guys, Cascade is a 20% buff plus a 20% boost to all artifacts plus itself. So if you've got a 2.4 artifact, 2.4%, you're going to get 20% on top of that as well. So you're going to get like another 4% on top of all of your artifacts. It's huge. Obviously, isolytic damage is big. It makes a significant impact. And when paired with Picard, who basically does a very similar thing as his officer ability, increase isolytic cascade by 5% for 3 rounds every time you hit a non-armada hostile, and obviously only once per weapon. That's pretty standard. I'm glad to put that a little bit in there because lots of people think, well, I've got 12 shots in the first round, but it's only from 4 weapons, so you've only got chances for 4 to proc. Really big, really, really big. I think the officers are absolutely superb. And while we're talking about the officers, they've now given us, with these officers, we have now got the best reputation grinding crew in the game. And this is it. This is the best reputation grinding crew in the game. Forget Harry Kim on the bridge. You don't need Harry Kim. Bear in mind, Harry Kim sort of gets to 30, 40%. It's nothing massively substantial. What are we getting here? We're getting 60% from Picard. We're in essence getting 40% from Data. 40% is more than Harry Kim at the lower tiers. And I'm tier 4 on 5 of 11, so I'm getting 80% from 5 of 11. Below deck, we've got the Doctor, again, another loot increase officer. That loot increases obviously 20%. That includes reputation. And then we've got Alonzo Freeman. Obviously, Alonzo Freeman is increasing FKR reputation by 30%. So if you are running it, and my Alonzo Freeman now, I think is tier 3. He is tier 3. He's got 3 little bars there. Still only level 10. Need to put some officer XP into him. But once he gets to tier 3, he should replace the Doctor for your reputation grind if you only have 3 slots. But this is, I'm going to make a standalone video on this, I think. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see this about reputation grinding crews, a specific video regarding that. But if you do only have 3 slots, for example, and you are using B'Elanna Torres and Hugh for criticals and hull breach, etc., if you've only got that 1 spare slot, you should be using Alonzo Freeman once he's tier 3 over the Doctor. If your Doctor is only tier 2, obviously whichever one is higher, use that for this crew. But this technically is the absolute best reputation grind officer combination in the game. Really, really pleased with the officers this month. Really, really chuffed that they've put an additional sort of 5 of 11 in there, and I couldn't have asked for much more on that. And that's our first hit. Our second hit, I am going to go back to this little beauty, the Borg Cube. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I am so happy that we physically have a Borg Cube in the game. I think it's absolutely outstanding. I think it's been one of the most requested features and ships since the game launched. Bear in mind, we've been playing this for 5 years now. People have always said, I want to be able to fly my own Borg Cube. When the Borg first came out, sort of 3-4 years ago, when was it, 2020? So yeah, God, 3.5 years ago, whatever the hell it was. All everybody said was, oh, the Vidar, why couldn't we get a Borg Cube? Why couldn't we get a Borg? You have a Borg Cube. Really, really chuffed with it. And I'm really happy with its general combat ability. And remember, as I said before, look at it in 2 sides. Its loop is using the cutting beam. Look at that totally independently to how you are going to use this for its feature. For its actual loop. So its loop is totally different to its general combat ability. Look at it as a 2-faceted ship. A loop is necessary to upgrade it and do the research, and the research is decent, by the way. The research is decent. But one thing I'm also really, really pleased with was the sourcing for this cube. Everybody free to play is guaranteed to be able, providing you want to have this cube by around mid-December. How do you do that? Let me explain it. So if you decided to opt in for the £20 or equivalent battle pass in November, you will have got a Borg Cube by around day 8, providing you remained perfect. If you decided that you are a fully free to play and you wouldn't get it, you will have got about 30 shards this month, 25 from the free track, 5 from missions, and you will be able to pick up the remaining 70 blueprints for the Borg Cube in December's event store, which is confirmed. So I would imagine that probably by around mid-December, so time of recording 3rd of December today, I would imagine by about the 15th, 16th that you are going to be able to fly your Borg Cube for free. Now I think this is the fastest free-to-play introduction of a ship for quite some time. I'm going to take the Talios out of that equation, so obviously that had quite decent prerequisites, but because this is available for Ops 28 Plus, I think this is the quickest a free-to-play has been able to grind out a ship for quite some time. So I'm really, really pleased with the Borg Cube. I'm really pleased with its general combat ability. I think it's very good. I think it does have some tweaks. Obviously, as I mentioned in the misses section of this video, I think I went quite heavy on those because I think this has the potential to really be a stalwart in the game, and especially because this ship is going to be lasting us between Ops 28 through Ops 70. It's going to be a very, very long term. Very, very long term ship for us, and I'm really pleased to see where this goes. And I really hope they take some of our feedback on board and make some changes in regards to it. But I think it's a massive hit, the fact that we've got some really good sourcing for it. I mean, I've spent nothing on upgrade materials. I've spent absolutely nothing on upgrade materials for this. So this month, in its month of launch, I have been able to get it to the point where I am ready to go to tier 6. I ain't going to tier 6. Can anybody tell me why? Drop me down in the comments. Tell me why I'm not going to tier 6, why I'm quite happy sitting at tier 5 for a while. I'm ready to go tier 6 and I'm not doing it. There is a reason. Can anybody tell me down in the comments? Maybe we should make a video on that, or maybe pop into the live stream and I'll explain why I am not going to tier 6 on this cube. I'm really happy at tier 5. Let me know down in the comments why you think that could be the reason. So that is our next hit. If you've made it this far, it's now time for our hint for the upcoming arc in December. I will preface this with saying that I am pretty excited about the upcoming arc. I think it's I think it's going to be interesting. I do think it's going to be interesting. Are you ready for your hint? Here we go. Listen very carefully. Will it help to besiege me to get a hint? Or maybe just a gesture to say hello? I might only be pretending to know what's coming. Ha! Let's see what this hint unearths. Lol. One more time. Will it help to besiege me to get a hint? Or maybe just a gesture to say hello? I might only be pretending to know what's coming. Ha! Let's see what this hint unearths. Lol. Did you get it? Drop it down in the comments. Jads, good luck with this one. I don't think he'll do too well on this one. I say Jads because Jads is a very avid follower of the stream and of the content, and she's really good at deciphering this sort of stuff. So, shout out, Jads. Thank you for all your support, and good luck trying to decipher this one. But that's our hint for the December arc. And moving into our third and final hit. Now, my third hit is in relation to the spend events. Okay, so hear me out on this. I know I did a video railing on this earlier on in the month, but remember that this was a massive change that they made mid-month. They pivoted. I didn't think they would, but they did. They did it quick, they did it fast, and I think it's had a significant impact and made things a lot better. So the spend event started off with G3 this month being worth 20 points, G4 Uncommon being worth 30 points. They pivoted. After weekend one, after feedback from the community, well done everybody. It just goes to show that obviously the herd mentality, all working together, can really have a significant impact. And they doubled the points for both G3 and G4. Now remember, the milestones are also still work in progress. Obviously, what they want to do is they want to be able to balance it so that people are getting incentivized to spend their current generation. Are you in the 50s? Then you should be spending G5. Are you in the 40s? You should be spending G4. Are you in the 30s, the 20s? You should be spending G3. They are trying to work on those milestones to make them work, and I think they are working towards a really good model with this. Now, obviously, the constant iterations are something that I'm not super happy with. Obviously, I was really happy with the sourcing of the Voyager officers. Clearly, they're not going back to that. We haven't seen that now for a few months with a large milestone for a full unlock. We haven't seen that for a few months, so I'm assuming that they've moved away from that now. But this month, I cannot knock the way that the milestones finally end up. I'm not talking specifically about this SLB. Obviously, I was just showing you this for the physical materials and how much that you get per material, but the SMS, which I've pulled up now, is obviously exactly the same. So if we zoom in a bit so that we can actually physically see it, yeah, 40 points rather than 20, 60 points rather than 30. But what am I most happy with regards to this? So if we go down to my milestone, now the milestones do look big. Obviously, I'm a 57, and we can see here that we started off getting some Enterprise E data shards, and this is a big thing for me. So by completion of this SMS, you're able to get 34 shards of data. 34 shards of data is a full unlock this month of data. Complete it twice, you're going to be well on your way to tier 2 just from the 2 SMSs, given the shards that are available in both the battle pass and through events scattered throughout the month. So I'm really pleased that they've started to incorporate the rare and the epic when we do have one in a month. I think that's really good. And the half unlock for the 18 million points for me was very, very doable with what we get in game. I don't think I could have done all three. I didn't do all three. I did weekends 2 and 3, and then I was pretty much tapped out. So I haven't participated in the Carol Freeman. I haven't participated in the lower decks strike team exchange officers that are currently going now for incursions. I've not. I'm waiting for next month to see what appears and see how it presents and see how it goes. That's tended to be my strategy. I've tended to ignore the in-between arc auctions and SMSs to focus on the newer content as that comes out. But that's just my play style. But I'm really pleased with the fact that they iterated fast. They made a difference, obviously doubling the value of G3 and G4 uncommon. Bearing in mind how poor it actually was before. I'm really pleased with that. And also the introduction of getting full unlocks of the rares as well as half unlocks of the epics within the milestones. I'm very, very pleased with this as a model, and I wouldn't be disappointed if they decided to keep this strategy moving forward of having rares and epics. And I will point out again, I'm so happy that for the last couple of months we've had 3 weekends of these. These have allowed players to save up for a couple of weeks and then maybe go ham in the 3rd week, or piecemeal it out and do a few milestones, week 1, week 2, week 3, to scrape across an unlock, obviously, of the epic officers across 3 weekends. Really happy with them running it across 3 weekends, and I think that's a massive hit. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please let me know down in the comments, what are your 3 hits? What are your 3 misses for the arc? Let me know your general feedback. Have I missed something really obvious? Is there something that you thought was better than the 3 hits that I've put in this month? Anything at all, please drop it down in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We're well on our way now. I'm trying to work towards getting to 2,000 subscribers. We've got about 400 to go. So if you haven't pushed that button, please do that. Check out our merch store. We've got a fantastic Christmas jumper in there. If you want it for Christmas, I would look at getting that ordered soon as possible. The website is itslube.com. That's itslube.com. If you want to go check out the merch store there, please go and do that. Big shout out to our members. We've got Andy, we've got Candy, we've got VA, and we've got Minnie. Thank you so much for the members here on YouTube. Anybody who wants to join that very exclusive club at the moment, obviously we do have a join button down below if you want to join and support the channel on a monthly basis. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. I am looking forward to December. Let me know what you think of the hint. Drop all your comments down below. And remember, guys, that everything is better with lube. Take care and have a wonderful day.